Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of the Kingswell Conversations, which are conversations with heart shaping the future of foster care and adoption. And I am joined once more by the fabulous Richard Kingswell, CEO of Extra Special Parents in Virginia and FosterVA. Hello, Richard. Thank you for joining me again for another of your special episodes.
It's great to be here, Nikki. Thank you.
Episode 3 then, what we've been doing is we've been learning a bit more about who is Richard Kingswell. We started off with your why. We've talked a bit about your role as a CEO. And before we start moving on with these episodes getting a bit more into the trenches of foster care and adoption, we just want to know a little bit more about you. So I want to understand a little bit more about what inspires you. How do you navigate things when they get tough? So everyone faces hard days, but in amongst this, you are the CEO of one of Virginia's biggest foster and adoption agencies and resource websites. And when things are getting tough for you, when you're on a hard day, what is it that gets you through that? So it could be something to do with work, could be something completely outside of work. What keeps Richard going on the hard days?
Well, having a team, I think, is the strongest part. When things are not going well for a family or a team member, having a team to lean upon and come to a consensus about a solution is a very strong part of who I am. I do not have all the answers. And I think anybody that believes that they have the answers in this journey, because we're working with human beings and every human being is 100% unique. And that challenge for us is every error, every mistake, every crisis is unique to everybody involved in that crisis. And so having a strong team of great leaders and new social workers, all with new perspectives, the ones that really know my families, leaning on them, helping a staff develop professionally, is what makes us a strong organization. And so leaning on the team is probably my most important thing in a crisis. On a personal level, when it's not going well, I need space and I need to step away. And I usually do that with a walk. And it doesn't have to be long. It's like any crisis. If you can just give yourself that 10 minutes to step outside the crisis and then freshen the brain, give it some bit of oxygen, a little bit of exercise. I've always find that isolation with a sunset, a sunrise, a walk, to be the most successful way of recentering my brain. My brain's going to be okay, but it doesn't do well with adrenaline. It doesn't do well when you're being bombarded. And as the leader of an organization, a lot of information can come at you. And you don't want to make a decision that is too quick, not founded in logic and discipline and understanding of the law. And so you have to really center yourself at just 10 minutes. And that works for families as well. When they're in a crisis, just step away for 10 minutes, just let the steam go out of the kettle. And that is a very important part of finding my center, because I'm no good to anybody if I'm in the crisis. And I do have tells, and my staff, I inform them of my tells when I'm overfull. And my tell is I just do this to my hair. And when I'm doing that, it's just literally, I've run out of capacity in my head, and my staff have been trained and taught how to recognize my tell, because I told them what it is, that I need a break. There's too much information coming to me. And I think that's knowing your tells. And I've learned them over years of going, that's what I do. And then letting your support network know that you're full and you need to tap out. That's okay. And tapping out.
I need to ask some people around me what mine are. I'm not sure if I've even thought about that, but I'm going to ask some people around me now if there's anything that I do.
There's always a physical tell, because your body goes into a defensive mode and it's sending signals to people who care about you. And my team cares about me. They want me to be sound, because I can't make informed decisions if I'm not sound. So giving me that 10-minute tap out at all my levels of my career, through my whole journey, I've always informed my team of that is my signal to everybody that I need a break. Give me a moment and I'll be back.
I love that. So Do you have a particular personal mantra or book or influence that you have either turned to now in certain moments of challenges, or that you've used in the past, that you can say, like, whenever things have got a little bit tough, I either tell myself this, or I look to somebody else, or I remember something that someone said, or there's a book or anything like that that you've looked to externally to help you?
I think my primary mantra is life is good. And I think that is the one that I fall back on near enough 100%. It's in my signature on my emails, so I see it too many times a day as I'm sending emails and communicating across the internet. And so life is good. And yes, there is clouds, and yes, there is hard times, but the planet is good. The people on the planet are good. We have isolated bad players, but generally everybody's good. Everybody wants to look after their family. Everybody wants to help others. Everybody doesn't like seeing people in distress. That's who we are as a human being. And I know that the media, the social media, the news only shows the bottom of the barrels in the journey. But 99.9% of us believe life is good and want to make it better. And that may just be for their children. It may be for the foster children. It may be for their parents, their children. But life is good. And if we can focus on that and keep coming back to that part of the journey, I really do see that we are a great human race, and we can do better, as always, through education, through leadership, through training, through reading, through music, through movies. That's what we can do. But life is good. And just keep coming back to that.
It's very much kind of like a glass half full way of looking at things, isn't it? It's looking at things and saying, where to focus your attention. Do we focus our attention on the glass being half full or the glass half empty? And whichever one of those, if you focus on the fact that life is good, that things are positive in amongst on that, there's so much research around how choosing where to focus your attention and your mindset is incredibly powerful.
And with that statement, Nikki, it's really an interesting one for me because, yes, I am a glass half full, but I also know where the tap is, and I'll fill that cup up every single time. So it's not half full, half empty. It's just needing to be filled again. And I will go to the tap and fill it up, and that's my team.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now, when you look at this area that you work in and that you've gone through, extensively over the years, your experience is second to none. Are there certain people that have inspired you on your journey? Now, they don't have to be gurus of foster care and adoption. It could just be a person or a family, or just somebody that crossed your path for 5 minutes one time that had such a profound effect on you. Is there anybody in particular that has inspired you most in this area?
My mother was my first.
Yeah.
She was a person who stepped up at a time of need and created her own business at a very late age in her life as an entrepreneur, worked hard and was successful and had a beautiful life. And so she was a person that's inspired me for entrepreneurship and going out there and risking everything for the benefit of your family. And that was an amazing opportunity for me to see someone do that. Luckily, it was my mother, and I watched her with her struggles and her growth and everything else, but that was a big one. Then I think finding professional mentors and gurus, as you call them, and people are put in front of you at the right time for you to recognize them most of the time. And I think that is a person that is on a different journey, but intersects with you. They may be way ahead of you or just starting. So I had a mentor in the very earliest part of my career when I got my first residential program. And he put me under his wing, and his name was Dr. John McCain out of Arizona, not the politician, a most amazing clinician. and he put me under his wing and he educated me. And one of the things that he said to me when I took on my residential program that stuck with me for my life, this was probably 30 years ago when I ran my first program. And he said, "You're feeling pretty good about yourself, Richard. This is going quite well." And I started a brand new program. So this was a startup organization with the support of a big corporation. And he said, "Not enough bad stuff's happened yet, Richard. So calm down, and you're going to learn through this journey that you're always on a learning path." And for him to talk about that and inspire me to say, "Okay, don't get clever about this, Richard, because there is a journey where things will go wrong, kids will act up, there'll be a riot, a crisis, and all the things in between in a residential facility, and you don't have all the skills yet. It takes time." And that was great wisdom for me.
Yeah.
And then there was a dyslexic that I just adore. And he is a British entrepreneur, and he is Richard Branson. And he started from a little record shop in London, not too far from where I was born. And he grew to one of the most successful, most amazing people on the planet for the well-being of our planet. He's a great businessman. He runs a very small team. I think his team is less than 200 people that run this worldwide organization. And he still knows how to look after the little people in his team, the ones that are doing the graft sort of thing. And he is a distinguished gentleman now in the field and of entrepreneurship and leadership and the planet. And his next generation, his kids, are now in the organization learning their skills under Dad. And that's an awesome person as well. So I've had those two. And then there's kids that I've had that have taught me that there was a young man when I was probably like 15, 16 years old that broke me. And he was just a little cub. And he was the only kid that I wanted to snatch up so badly and throw against a wall because I didn't have the tools. I had no idea how to help this child. And it was like, okay, you need to go to school. You need to start learning the skills. And this young man, and he came back to me. I went to his father's funeral, and he came back to me, and I talked about this part of my journey with him. And he said, "Oh, I know I was hard work. I'm sorry." And he was probably 25, 30 years old with his own kid. And he knew that he was a hellion. And that was a great moment for me. And I always remember this young child saying, "Yep, I ain't going to do what you're going to say, Scoutmaster." And he broke me from that perspective. It's like, I don't have the skills and I need to learn and do better. So that's pretty amazing sort of thing. So
that's a brilliant range of people, from like historical people to family to business influencers. What a broad range of influence. That's amazing.
The more people you can bring to your table to eat, work and enjoy, the better you are as a leader and someone of an organization that wants to help children.
Absolutely. And what last question for you on this topic is, how do you keep your team motivated? So collectively, when obviously everyone knows running a business isn't a horizontal line. You know, we know that there are highs and lows, and there'll be times when you've gone through business related challenges, team challenges. What's your strategy, or what things do you do to keep the team motivated when they're going through a challenging time?
That's a great question. I think the most challenging part for me when a staff is struggling is, how can I help with keeping in the guardrails of the state and also not being abused? And I think having that balance between there's helping and there's an enabling, I think that's in any mental health field. And most of our crises are related to a mental health crisis. And that's in their families, the staff's families, the parents' families, the children's families. It's always around mental health and the strength of mental health. So you have to make sure that you're not enabling and making the problem last longer because you're trying to fix everything for somebody, but also give them enough tools that they can be successful in that journey. So I think that is probably the answer, is recognizing that you have to give some but don't give too much, because if you give too much, you're not healthy enough to help them out when they need you even more. So a little crutch, but not dragging them to where they don't want to go at that moment in time.
Fantastic. Well, Richard, thank you so much for sharing with us a little bit more about you. I think collectively we know so much about your whole journey now. It's been absolutely great that you've shared so much with us. And I'm really looking forward to sort of getting a little bit more into the trenches of foster care and adoption in our next episode. But for those people that are watching now, if you're coming from this area, you've seen us and you're a parent that's considering going into foster care and you'd like to just chat to somebody at Extra Special Parents, or you just like some more information, you can visit either of the websites, www.espva.org, or FosterVA, which is www.fosterva.org. And if you / that with a free guide on FosterVA, you can also pick up Richard's amazing 45-page complete guide to foster care and adoption, which takes all of his knowledge into an amazing downloadable PDF. If you're coming to this from a child advocate perspective, you can also reach out to us through those websites so that we can see as an agency and as an organisation how we can work with you to support the children that you are advocating for. Richard, thank you for your time again.
Thank you, Nikki.
We look forward to seeing you again for another episode and learning and tapping more into that incredible brain. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.